Am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mum took my seat? So, am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mum took my seat as a joke? I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend Matt, 27 male, for almost 2 years. His family are very close, and his mum in particular has always been a little possessive. I've tried not to make a big deal about it, but it's clear that she doesn't like that I take up his time. She's made passive-aggressive comments like, I hope I don't lose my son to some girl, even though we've been together for a while and I've made every effort to be kind and respectful to her. Anyway, last weekend was Matt's birthday. He invited me to dinner with his family at a nice restaurant. I got dressed up, I got him a gift I knew that he'd love, and I was looking forward to the night. When we arrived, I noticed that his mum had saved the seat right next to him for herself. That's fine, whatever, I sat on his other side. But right before we ordered, his mum made a joke about how I always need to be next to Matt, and said, let's see how you handle a little separation. Then she literally stood up, looked at me and said, scooch sweetie, motioning for me to move down a seat so that she could sit between us. Everybody at the table laughed at that, Matt included. I was so stunned, I quietly got up and I moved. For about 5 minutes I sat there feeling small and humiliated while she leaned over Matt like he was her date. So I stood up, I grabbed my bag and I said, actually, I think I'm gonna head out. Hope you have a great birthday, Matt. Matt blew up my phone later saying that I completely overreacted, embarrassed him in front of his family, and I can't take a joke. His mum texted me a sorry that you were so sensitive message, which made it worse. Now he's not speaking to me until I apologize. I honestly feel like they were the rude ones, but it was his birthday dinner, so now I'm second guessing everything. Am I the a-hole? The top comment says, not the a-hole, that's what your entire future with him and his mother's gonna look like. And the response to that says, mama's boys are the worst partners. The second top comment says, tell him you can take a joke fine. You dated him for this long, but you're done now, bye. Yeah, like the comment below that says too, sorry that you were so sensitive. That says it all to me. She didn't acknowledge doing anything wrong. It's too bad that your boyfriend isn't looking out for you in this. And OP said, yeah, it's actually crazy. He still hasn't spoken to me and it's been like 2 days. So I'm gonna drop his things off at his house and that's the end of the relationship. This comment says, nah, he'll always pick her over you. He's not worth it. Yeah, 100%. And the fact that he's giving OP the cold shoulder. He's not speaking to OP until OP apologizes. We read about stuff like this all the time and it's so sad. Like either it's somebody who never stands up for their partner, or they always choose their mum over their partner and they always prioritize their mum over their partner. Yeah, you did the right thing here, OP. Stuff like this probably is never gonna change. It would happen again and again and again. Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a great day today and I hope you're ready for this. In today's episode, I think I've got 8 stories to read, and once again Jin is joining us for the episode. Having a beautiful day today and I hope you guys are too. Enjoy the video everybody and let me know down below in the comments what you think. And post number 2 says, am I the gay hole for not waiting for my stepkids to be with us before doing something with my biological children? I have 2 children, 4 and 2 with my husband, and 2 stepkids, 10 and 9 from his prior marriage. My husband and his ex-wife share physical and legal custody, and they've got equal parenting time of their children. So my stepkids are with us every other week. For a while now, my stepkids have been acting up when I'm left in charge. They're pushing far more boundaries. They tell me that I'm not their mum repeatedly if I'm the only one around. Their behavior in public when I go anywhere with them alone is worse, and they won't listen if it's me talking to them. My husband is addressing this, but his ex sees no issue with them not listening to me. She's told him that she does not care. So it's entirely on us to address it, and finding the right solution is taking time. My stepkids' behavior is something that my sister-in-law has been latching onto, and she's accusing me of punishing them in unfair ways because of their behavior. And why is this? Because I do fun things with my kids. I take them places on days that my stepkids are with their mum. I took my kids to a book fair and we had a good day. I've taken them shopping to let them pick out a new toy or plushie, or we'd go to events at the library or go to a movie. Those kinds of things that I do that are now being questioned. Sister-in-law does not think that I should be doing most of that when my stepkids are with their mum, and she said that she feels I'm doing it as a way of punishing them for acting out on me when they don't with anyone else. She said it seems like I want to exclude them. My husband told her she was crazy and that life can't stop every other week because the kids aren't here. She told him that it seems like I'm living it up with my real kids when the fake ones are with their real mum. I told her that we do things with my stepkids all the time, that all I'm doing is making sure the weeks they're not here aren't spent waiting around for them. She asked why that would be a bad thing, and I said it's because there are 2 other kids to think about. I told her she never said anything before before. She said that she's increasingly bothered by it because she sees the kids' behavior getting worse and believes it's my way of punishing them. She asked me why I can't wait to do any biggish stuff for when my stepkids are here. My husband told her to shut up, and sister-in-law said that we're in denial, and I should really think about this. I want to check because she has planted some doubt in my head about this. So, am I the gay hoe? Yeah, like this comment says, not the gay hoe. I would assume that the mother of your stepkids is doing fun stuff with her kids when they're with her. Does your sister-in-law think that she's not doing stuff with them and only allowing them to do fun stuff when they're all together? Your sister-in-law needs to mind her own business. The top comment says, if any kids can't behave themselves in public, then I'm not taking them out somewhere. Going to the movies or something fun is a privilege, not a right. Yeah, and like the comment below that says, not the gay hoe, your kid shouldn't miss out just because the stepkids aren't there. You're not punishing anybody. You're living your life and being a parent. Sister-in-law is way out of line. The comment below that says also, your biological kids are quite a bit younger than your stepkids, so they're probably not even into the same activities. Yeah, OP's children were 4 and 2, and the stepkids were 10 and 9. Yeah, you're not the a-hole, OP. Am I the gay hole for telling my ex's new boyfriend that she cheated on me with 2 guys while we were together? Wow, okay, so I, 25 male, dated K, 27 female for about 1.5 years. We lived together, had joint savings, the whole domestic starter pack. I really thought we were in it for the long haul. Then she went on a girls trip to Tulum, came back a week later looking like she saw the ghost of morality, sat me down and said that she needed to be honest. Turns out that she cheated. Twice. Once with some guy from her yoga class that she said was like a brother, and once with a guy that she met on the beach and connected with under the moonlight. I moved out the next day, blocked her, went full monk mode. Anyway, fast forward a few months, I get a DM from this guy. We'll call him Zach. Zach is her new boyfriend. He's all, hey man, I hope this isn't weird, but I know you used to date Kay, and I wanted to ask if she was faithful to you. She says that you were emotionally distant and kinda checked out. First off, lol. Second, I sat with it, I didn't respond for a few hours, but then I figured if he's asking, he probably already knows something's off, so I told him the truth. I said she cheated on me twice. Once with somebody that she told me not to worry about, and once with a random on vacation. You can believe what you want, but that's what happened. Good luck. No insults, no bitterness, just the facts. He read it, no reply. Then she texts me, I can't believe you're still trying to ruin my life. That was so inappropriate. I thought you were better than this. Wow, blaming OP for being honest about the awful stuff that you did. So now I'm wondering, did I cross a line? I wasn't trying to sabotage anything. He literally asked me. I gave a calm, honest answer. But apparently I'm the villain in her healing journey now. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the part where you owed her anything. Oh my god. How bloody ridiculous. The top comment says, not the a-hole. You didn't sign an NDA when you broke up. You owe her nothing. Yeah, you told the truth and you were very fair with your response. The comment below that says, not the gay hole, her new boyfriend asked you and you told him what's up. If anything, she shouldn't be a cheater. And the comment below that says, not the gay hole, your ex is learning the definition of f around and find out. And the one below that says, not the gay hole, you did exactly the right thing. Her actions had consequences. Too bad for her. Yeah, and the audacity of her to say to OP, I can't believe you're still trying to ruin my life. OP's trying to ruin your life with your own actions. Like, this is the most typical cheater behavior. And we read about stuff like this all the time. Like, they betrayed their partner and they never take responsibility for their actions. Like it's OP's fault because you cheated twice. Yeah, this comment too, not the gay hole. Cheaters don't get to control the narrative when people talk about their crappy behavior. Yeah, that's the point. Their crappy behavior. It's their own crappy behavior. Definitely a not the a-hole consensus. The next one says, am I the a-hole for not attending my friend's child-free wedding, even though she offered a solution? My friend's getting married next weekend and is having a child-free wedding, which I completely respect, and I've got no issue with. I'm a single mum to a medically complex 9-month-old who's had a tracheostomy. His care is very specific and very intensive, so it's not just a case of finding a babysitter on short notice. He needs somebody trained to handle emergencies, suctioning and feeding. I RSVP'd no to the wedding from the start because I don't have anybody in my city that I can leave him with. My mum, who sometimes helps me, lives in a different city, and I also don't have a big support system. After I said no, she asked me to be a bridesmaid because some of her other bridesmaids had dropped out, which felt a little bit odd given that I'd already explained that I wouldn't be able to attend, so I politely declined. Then she asked if I could bring somebody with me to watch my son in a hotel room while I attend the wedding. I told her I can't afford to pay somebody for an overnight stay, plus medical care, assuming that I could even find somebody qualified. Her latest suggestion was that I leave my son with the woman who'll be watching her son in another room during the wedding. Then she said that I could alternate and go to the room myself to check on him, basically meaning that I'd spend the evening bouncing between a wedding that I'm not truly at and caring for my medically fragile baby. At this point, I just told her again that I'm really sorry, but I can't come. She's now very upset and says that I'm making excuses and that she's trying to help and she really wants me to be at the wedding because I'm like an older sister to her. I feel like I've been kind and honest from the beginning, but now I'm wondering, am I the a-hole for still saying no? No, not the a-hole. The top comment says not the a-hole. You've been clear from the start. And her solutions, they ignore the serious medical needs of your child. And this isn't even about excuses, it's about priorities. She's been selfish and guilt trippy. You're being a responsible parent. End of story. Yeah, and also this comment, not the a-hole. Wedding invitation is not a summons. And what many people don't realize is childcare doesn't work for everybody. When my children were very young, I wouldn't have left them either. This comment says not the a-hole, but man, oh man, do I want some tea here. Why are her other bridesmaids bailing like rats on a sinking ship? Why is she hounding you so desperately? Inquiring minds are nosy and want to know. And OP said she said they were just a-holes. She didn't elaborate, but I did learn at her kitchen tea that she was able to replace one of the bridesmaids. I don't really know her to be an a-hole, but I'm starting to reconsider. Yeah, once again, very much a not the a-hole consensus. The next one says, am I the a-hole for kicking my fiance's sister out of my wedding? I, 32 female, have never had a good relationship with my mother. She was very emotionally and verbally abusive to me when I was a kid. She's a very mean person, and when I left for college at 18, I went no contact with her. It was best for me to distance myself from her, and it worked for me. When I met my fiance John 35 years ago, he knew all about my relationship with my mum and that I was no contact with her. He always respected my boundaries and never pushed me to have a relationship with her. Even when I was pregnant with our daughter too, when I got engaged, I made his sister Stacey my maid of honor because we have a very close relationship, or so I thought. Last Sunday, I was going over the guest list with her and coming up with the seating chart for the reception. I never said anything about where my mother would be sitting because she wasn't invited, and I think that caught her off guard because she asked me where my mother would be sitting. I told her that my mother wasn't invited because we don't talk, and I really don't want her at the wedding. She got quiet but didn't argue with me, and we moved on from there. A few days passed and I got a call from a number that I didn't know. I didn't answer and hung up, but the number called again, so I answered. My heart dropped when I heard my mother's voice. She was crying through the phone asking me why she didn't know that I was getting married, and I was honest with her. I told her that she didn't need to know because of how she treated me all during my childhood. I had to go to therapy to undo the damage she did to me, and I'm still not completely healed from it. I made a choice going no contact with her, and I'd like to keep it that way. She told me that it was unfair that I was holding that what she did years ago against her, and she hopes that we could talk when she comes down for the wedding. Oh, the audacity. We can talk when I come down for the wedding. You're not invited. I told her that wasn't necessary because she wasn't invited. She started crying, asking me why I sent her an invitation to the wedding if I didn't actually want her there. Whoa. I told her I didn't. So I don't know how she got one, but it wasn't from me. She said nothing else and she hung up on the phone. Well, so Stacey went behind your back and sent her an invitation? What a piece of crap. When John got home with Stacey, I asked him why he sent an invitation to my mother. When I told him that I didn't want her there, he was confused and said that he didn't. But I told him somebody did because she has one. That's when Stacey steps in and tells me that she was the one that sent out the invitation because she thought that if I saw her at my wedding, I'd realize how important it was to have my mother there for me. Oh, Stacey, where do you get off? You think that's a choice that you get to make? Oh my god, that's annoying. Now Stacey knows what I've been through with my mum and why I did not want her at my wedding. She knows that my relationship with her is not good, and her going behind my back to invite somebody to my wedding that I don't get along with felt like a huge act of betrayal. I snapped at her and I kicked her out of the wedding party because I refused to have somebody there who didn't respect my boundaries and somebody who invited people that I didn't even like without my permission. She immediately started crying to John, telling him that I couldn't do this and to stop me from kicking her out of the wedding. He was quick to take my side and completely banned her from the wedding. She was fuming mad and left without saying a word. Okay, so I just want to say, I am so happy that your partner is standing up for you. When we started reading that, I was thinking, please tell me that the partner doesn't side with his sister. I got calls all Thursday and Friday from John's family telling me that I was the a-hole for making John ban his sister from the wedding. His mum actually told me that what she did wasn't even that big of a deal. Oh my god, it's an a-hole family. And that I needed to stop acting like a petty baby over something that happened to me years ago. I told her that if she felt that way, she didn't have to come to the wedding either, before hanging up on her. This whole thing has divided the family and it's making me feel guilty, but John has reassured me that I did nothing wrong, and I had nothing to feel guilty about. Yeah, you haven't done anything, OP. I want to believe him, but I can't help but feel like I might have overreacted a bit. So am I the a-hole here? Not even a little bit. You might have even underreacted a little bit. This comment says, not the a-hole. I'm glad your husband's backing you up and supporting you. Your future sister-in-law not only broke your trust, but she went against what you said. Somebody who wants the best for you and cares about you would never do that. I hope you're able to have a great, peaceful wedding. Yeah, they absolutely suck. His mum actually told me that what she did wasn't even that big of a deal, and I needed to stop acting like a petty baby over something that happened to me years ago. So does the mum mean that it's not that big of a deal what the sister-in-law did, or it's not that big of a deal what OP's mum did? Either way, so awful. This comment says, not the a-hole mother or not, your sister-in-law has no business inviting other people to your wedding. Yeah, in the comment below that, this. Who the f does she think she is? Yeah, for real, who does Stacey think she is? Yeah, I know you're no contact with your mum because she was abusive to you growing up, but I know better than everybody, so I'm gonna invite your mum anyway, behind your back, because I feel like I know what's better for you. Like, having the gall to do that is so wild. Stacey 100% did this to herself. Like, hey, you go behind OP's back and invite OP's mum, who OP for good reason is no contact with. Yeah, of course there are consequences to that. Blaming OP for holding you accountable is unbelievable. Yeah, this comment too, not the a-hole. The rest of his family can right off for agreeing with her lack of respect. Yeah, that's terrible. Okay, the next one says, am I the a-hole for giving my husband a pregnancy test as a birthday gift? Hi, I'm female 23. My husband's male 25 birthday was a week ago. We've wanted a baby for a really long time, and when I found out that I was pregnant, I was so excited. Knowing that my husband's birthday was in 3 days, I decided to keep it a secret and give the test to him as a part of his birthday gift, because he wouldn't be expecting it. In my head, it would make it even more shocking or more exciting. At least that's how I thought it would be. Perhaps that was a dumb thought. Now, this was not going to be a big party with tons of people. My husband didn't want that, so it was only going to be the two of us. He was going to open his presents, we were going to eat a nice dinner, and it was going to be chill and intimate. With this in mind, I didn't think giving him the pregnancy test as a gift would be a problem at all. If it were a big party, I wouldn't have done it, because it would have taken the entire focus off of him. But this was a small party, just me and him. When it came time for me to give him presents, the pregnancy test was in a small box and I told him to open it last. He was super happy with all the gifts, and when he opened the box with the pregnancy test in it, his demeanor shifted. He seemed upset. I asked him what was wrong and he said that it was a stupid gift. And how could you hide something like this from me? You knew this for so long and you hid it? I explained to him that it was 3 days. I thought that would be a wonderful gift. Like I said, we've wanted a baby for so long, and I thought he'd be happy. He said that he was happy, but the timing for me to tell him was horrible, and that it was his birthday, not a celebration of pregnancy. Oh my god. I was confused, hurt, and upset. So many emotions at once. I called him immature, and that led to a fight. He slept on the couch that night. This past week, he hasn't talked to me too much. When I try to bring it up, he says, just stop. We're past it. It was dumb of you. Stuff like that. He doesn't tell me how happy he is, or any celebration about us being pregnant. Whenever I talk to him, he doesn't really reply. It's just a yes or a no or a grunt. Oh, get rid of him. What is he doing? I feel horrible. I didn't think this would be a bad gift. I thought he'd love it. Am I the a-hole for doing this? No. I really thought it was okay, but I'm starting to think that he's right. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Update, I don't really know if this is considered an update, but after reading the replies, I would like to clear up a few things. No, my husband has not ever acted this way towards me before. We've argued before, but it has never led to the point where he ignores me. To all the comments asking what I mean by wanting a baby for a really long time, we've been married for 4 years and we agreed from the start about wanting children. Yes, we've been trying to have a baby. I didn't stop taking birth control secretly, nor did we stop using protection accidentally. This is something we were both originally wanting. I didn't tell anybody before him. He was the first person to know. I thought I clearly stated that we were alone for the party, but we were alone. There wasn't other people around to hear. It was just us. Also, I don't know how to get rid of these numbers, so ignore them, but I don't want to kick him out or leave him. I really would appreciate advice on how to go about talking to him. if you have any advice, and I don't want to get an abortion. Yeah, wow, that was not good. The top comment says, I think he didn't actually want kids. The second top comment says, this is somebody that you want kids with. The comment below that says, my husband reacted like this after actively trying for a baby. Found out later that he had a girlfriend on the side and felt equal parts guilty and trapped. I'm not suggesting it's the case here, but the response to baby news in a healthy relationship would be joy, not this. Gird your loins, darling, and good luck. And the one below that, congratulations on the baby, condolences on the husband. And the comment below that says, I think you already have a baby. Yeah, the way that he reacted was terrible. And if he did actually want kids, then what's going on? Like the way that he was trying to put it onto OP, like how we said it was dumb of OP to do this, like the fact that he's all sulky about it. It's meant to be a beautiful moment for you and your partner. This comment says, be prepared to raise this baby on your own. He's really immature and needs to grow up. Yeah, it was meant to be a beautiful moment for them, but he's all sulky and angry because OP waited a couple of days to tell him, because OP wanted to surprise him. This comment says, I'd be willing to bet that he cheated and or is having second thoughts or cold feet about being a father. Yeah, 100%. And the fact that OP's saying that he's never been like this before, yeah, I don't feel like he actually wants kids. And yeah, if it's not that, then there's definitely something else going on. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let it slide after my wife said that I run a hobby business? So I've been starting and running a trades business in a major city. It's going into its 5th year. We've got 8 to 12 employees, have won awards and grown every year. Right, so immediately, why would you ever call that a hobby business? I'm annoyed about this and we haven't even started. I called me wife to ask her about a paperwork problem for taxes. I called me wife, talking like Mr. Krabs. Turned out that we needed the completed 2024 for something we hadn't yet filed. She said it would give her a panic attack and that she'd faint if I said she had to. I found her documents on my desk in the morning. I figured that I'd try to fit them in during the day, but I couldn't. So while I was figuring out the plan for the evening, time-wise, 2 kids and a lot to do, I called and I asked when she wanted me to do it. I meant that evening. Would she prefer I work late and come back at a certain time to take over the rest? Come home, do bath and dinner and then do it? Or none of the above? She got very angry and said that I was asking her to figure out my life for me. I tried to clarify that I wasn't, and what I meant, that I hadn't had a chance to do it as I only had the files in the morning, and she yelled at me and told me that I've always got some excuse because of my hobby business. I didn't yell back, I just said that was way over the line, totally unnecessary and inappropriate. I said that I put everything into building the business to help and support our family, and I couldn't believe how she could dismiss me and everything. That it felt like she was calling me a loser and a failure. She angrily responded that she only called it a hobby, and I was entitled to think what I want to, but I was a f***ing liar for saying that she was implying a lot more than just one word. She definitely did mean something by it, otherwise she wouldn't have said it. She was trying to hurt your feelings. She said she was only expressing frustration. And I said, well, no, you insulted me and you knew how much that was going to hurt. That was the point. She didn't argue, just said that she was entitled to express her frustration and that it wasn't her job to manage my feelings about what she said. Context about this, my business is in year number 5. I won't say that it's been easy. It's been the hardest thing I ever did in my life. I, 38 male, had a desk job and I was quite successful in one sector, but the low pay, heavy hours and dependency on grants and funding was heavy. I couldn't imagine doing it for another 40 years, so I went looking for new careers. I applied to things I was overqualified for. I applied to things that I was qualified for. I applied to things that you'd think anybody could get. Crickets. It's hard to change careers. Then I found the skilled trades. I had to go back to school and get fit in one fell swoop, but I did it and I toughed it out in some high production companies. Eventually, a friend of mine at one and I decided to start our own. We saw many problems in our industry, for the employees, for the clients, for the owners, and an opportunity in the market. It's been a wild ride. Everything was progress until a fire destroyed our service trucks in year 3. In year 4, my wife had a second child and experienced severe PPD, which resulted in numerous hospitalizations and, well, rage directed at me, and that was highly destabilizing. The worst happened almost a year to the day of the fires, which we hadn't yet climbed out of. It's March 2025, but it feels like March, February 2024 to me. The bad year never ended, as the build-up of critical business stuff that needed to address is haunting. It took us 6 months to replace the trucks after the fire, but we kept on running somehow, and we were still dealing with early growth pains. I thought the next year would be tough but stable. It was not, it was worse. The worst year of my life. And I've had some rough ones before all of this. My wife has worked for us and helped, not because it was desperately needed, but because she couldn't get another job. It allowed her to take a year off for both our kids and stay home. I pay 75% of the expenses. If you pay 75% of the expenses, this sure as hell is not a hobby business. And the situation puts extreme stress on me, as if I falter or revenue is low, there's nothing else coming in. And on the other hand, she works from home and has got flexible hours and both kids are in daycare full time. When I'm home late, I need to work more for the money or business to survive. She complains that I'm not home. When I'm home, she complains about money things. I'm a pretty stoic person in terms of being screamed at, but that was beyond. I wish many things were different, but to call my work a hobby, when it's the only support for our family and it's so important to me, she sees no problem. And I feel pointedly degraded. Right, okay, so that's definitely a very a-holy thing to say to your partner, but I'm getting the vibe here that there are a whole bunch of other issues, and there's not that much context. Like, yeah, 100% a-hole thing to say, but it really does seem like there are bigger issues here. And she was 100% trying to hurt your feelings. Yeah, the top comment, a hobby that pays 75% of the expenses and employs her. She is way out of line. The response to that says couple therapy would be a great way to try to understand her delusions. And when you're understandably upset, she goes, oh, it's not my job to manage your feelings. Yeah, like this comment says, your wife is mean. Weird that she would call the family's only source of income a hobby. She did it to undermine you, but she should be your biggest supporter, not the a-hole. Yeah, like this comment says, calling the business she's employed at a hobby is wild. Yeah, and it's straight up not a hobby. It provides 75% of their income. So yeah, definitely an a-hole thing to say. But like this comment says, y'all have got way more issues than her calling this a hobby business, and I suspect there's a lot of backstory behind her angry words. Not that that justifies what she said, but her words are a symptom of a larger problem, my dude. Okay, the next one says, am I the a-hole for telling my husband that he's an a-hole for not showing any care for me after I came home from the hospital with a fractured spine? Today I slipped on some stairs outside and I had a really bad fall that resulted in my spine being fractured. Oh, OP, that's awful. After it happened, my husband took me to the emergency with our kids. I was in excruciating pain and I asked him to leave me and go home with our kids. After 8 hours in emergency without any food and no company and a great deal of pain, I get confirmation that I have a sacrum fracture. My mother-in-law picked me up at around 8 p.m. and took me home and told my husband to get me a heat pack and go to the chemist to get me prescribed painkillers. My son was going to sleep, so I went and laid with him for about half an hour. After I came out, my husband was in the kitchen eating. At this stage, I hadn't eaten since midday and it was 9:30 p.m. I asked if he got the painkillers and he said no. I asked if he got a heat pack ready and he said no. I asked him to get me something to eat while I lay down because sitting and standing was really painful, so we did. An hour later, I asked him if he got the painkillers, knowing that he didn't, and he said no, and then asked me to tell him about the painkillers. I asked him what he wanted to know, and he said everything. This really upset me, and I told him that I was hurt that he hadn't shown me any care or any compassion since I got home. He said, here we go. Oh my god, whoa, dude. And I called him an a-hole. Yeah, fair enough. He said that when he asked about the painkillers, he felt like he was talking to a brick wall and that I need to try to communicate better. I said his questions were so ridiculous and I shouldn't have to do anything to receive basic kindness and care from my husband when I return home from hospital with a fractured spine. He says I make it hard for him to be kind when I call him names. I truly think he was being an a-hole when he didn't take any initiative to organize anything to assist me with my pain or comfort. Am I the a-hole for calling my husband an a-hole? Am I expecting too much by expecting my husband to be proactive and at least doing the things that his own mother told him to do? Get a heat pack ready and go pick up the painkillers without me needing to follow him up for them? This comment says, not the a-hole, your husband doesn't care about you or your well-being at all. Does he ever show you otherwise? The comment below that says, not the a-hole, your husband doesn't like you. It seems like he was doing a lot to ensure that you were in pain for as long as possible. This is not a man I'd stay married to. Yeah, not the a-hole, and we need to read something wholesome. This is Chase and his new little sister Skittles. He was skeptical at first, but then she started flying, and that's a nice change of pace for him. Oh, Skittles is so cute. Such beautiful puppy dogs. And also this one. He's warm. He is so cute. Such a tiny baby. Using the laptop charger as a heater. Kittens are so perfect. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a great time today. That was another unbelievable episode, and I hope you had a great time. The comment of the day goes to Tallulah Bangkok. Fun but also concerning. So fun-cerning, if you will. I'll see myself out for that one. That is so funny. Fun-cerning? That's what the episodes are. They're fun-cerning. Why didn't I think of this? Tallulah, I really appreciate this. Thank you for commenting this. Fun but also concerning. Fun-cerning. Welcome back to another fun-cerning episode. That is so perfect. They're very fun-cerning. Thank you for that comment, and thank you for the support, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next episode. So make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. Bye!